With a net worth of over $226 billion, Larry Ellison is the second richest man in the world. You probably don't know his name, his face, or what he really does, but that's exactly what makes him so dangerous. While Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and Elon Musk are household names, Ellison has been quietly monopolizing a terrifying empire, consolidating power at an alarming rate we've never witnessed before. Ellison holds some of the most dangerous ideas about the role AI should play in our daily lives. And thanks to a certain president forcing its sale, TikTok and all of its data in the United States now belongs to Ellison's empire. Having built his fortune on databases for the CIA, Ellison successfully leveraged his wealth and political connections to become one of the biggest media moguls in American history. But why does an 81-year-old tech titan want to access and control your personal information? And what does it mean for our future when one man holds the keys to both our data and our democracy? This is not simply about accumulating wealth or acquiring companies. It's about controlling the flow of information that shapes the thinking of an entire nation. This is not about what you see. It's about what you don't. While on the surface it looks like economic success, in reality, it's informational dominance, controlling the very systems that influence how an entire nation thinks, speaks, and understands itself. To understand Larry Ellison's endgame, we need to step inside the world he inhabits and the type of lifestyle he created. The two-time college dropout has a talent for sales and self-preservation, and an unquenchable thirst for wealth, wives, and living forever. He's been husband to 5 different women, fathered half a dozen children, and acquired a $4 billion line of credit he's eager to use. At this point, Larry has spent more than half of his life as a millionaire and now billionaire. And staying true to the filthy rich stereotype, he has the assets to show it. Some of his favorite possessions include a yacht racing team in New Zealand, multiple aircrafts, an extensive collection of exotic cars, including a McLaren F1, and an impressive portfolio of high-end luxury properties all around the world, including the most expensive residential property ever purchased in Florida history. Larry is no stranger to headlines or to controversy, having to once rename his super yacht Izanami after people realized what that particular name is spelled backwards. In 2012, he dropped around $300 million to acquire 98% of Lanai, the 6th largest island in Hawaii. Overnight, most of the island's 3,000 residents became an Ellison tenant, employee, or in some cases both. This created a serious problem for many islanders, as some of the rental contracts forced them to lose their residential home if they happened to lose their job. The so-called contemporary American king promised to turn Lanai into a laboratory for sustainability. Instead, the former pineapple plantation became a Four Seasons resort for influencers to book yoga and biomarking sessions for $2,000 a night. Once again, island residents were left to deal with the aftermath of a colonizing takeover. Ellison's fascination with surveillance is more than just a personality quirk. It's a core belief that shows up in his products, his partnerships, and his vision for the future. If he's our digital landlord, he's the kind that wants cameras installed in every room, for your protection, of course. The origins of his company Oracle, who now control TikTok, began with a predatory business model, built to be virtually invisible to the outside world. The lethal combination of those particular things is exactly why Oracle is currently thriving as the backbone to our banks, hospitals, intelligence agencies, and the internet itself. In 1977, with just $2,000 of their own hard-earned money, Ellison and 2 of his former partners, Bob Miner and Ed Oates, founded Software Development Laboratories. Their very first contract was a $50,000 deal with the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency. The code name for their contracted project was Oracle. To be clear, the company as we know it now, the one running TikTok, was literally born from and named after a CIA surveillance project. Around that same time, Ellison's team discovered an IBM research paper outlining a breakthrough concept called the relational database. Think of it as managing a million spreadsheets all at once. While IBM was still perfecting the theory, Ellison recognized its commercial potential. He used IBM's own work to beat the company to market and turned a freely published idea into his billion-dollar business. It was this combination of government contracts and commercial opportunism that forged Oracle ahead of the crowd, quickly turning Ellison into a software landlord. Oracle operates on a licensing model, meaning clients don't own the programs they use, they rent them. This creates a powerful lock-in effect, where switching systems is extremely expensive, extensive, and difficult. It turns customers, like government agencies, into hostages. As Oracle grew, its business model shifted from innovation to domination, buying up competitors and adjacent tech companies like Sun Microsystems. This strategy was less about creating new products and more about absorbing the market. According to Brian Cantrell, a former employee and engineer,
what you think of Oracle is even truer than you think it is. This company is about one man, his alter ego, and what he wants to inflict upon humanity. That's it. Inflict misery, lie our asses off, screw our customers, and make a whole shitload of money.
Larry Ellison really wants you to believe he's one of the good guys. He's so much of a good guy that he once donated $100 million to a medical foundation supporting cancer research. However, what he won't tell you is that he was ordered to make that massive donation as part of a lawsuit settlement for violating insider trading laws. He violated those laws by selling 8 million shares of Oracle stock right before it tanked. Another thing he won't tell you about this $100 million charitable donation he was forced to make is that it went to none other than the Ellison Medical Foundation, which conveniently filters right back through his already overflowing pockets.
Larry Ellison has been involved with two philanthropic organizations. First, he made a $500 or $300 million donation to Stanford. Oh, that sounds good. I'm not sure they need it, but okay, that sounds good. $300 million donation to Stanford in exchange for not admitting wrongdoing in an options backdating scandal. All other philanthropic work is to the Larry Ellison Institute for the Prolonging of Life, namely his. And so he has a team of scientists I'm not joking, this is a nonprofit, that are dedicated to putatively prolonging life. And so he can make more money. It's like, what is it about? What is it about? Stop. You're giving me an existential crisis.
On the outside, the company is focused on the betterment of society and the people in it. But if you take a closer look, you'll find the real truth and some ulterior motives. The primary objective at Oracle is to push governments to adopt digital ID systems and surveillance tech, which then collects and houses personal information about every single citizen, including their private health and financial records. The Tony Blair Institute is a textbook example of how Oracle uses political access as a global sales channel. Ellison has donated more than $350 million to his buddy Tony Blair. In turn, the TBI acts as an advisor to developing nations and recommends Oracle as the solution for their modernization needs. They lock those countries into what's known as predatory contracts. It was this exact predatory model that made Oracle the data daddy for 10 of the top 10 banks, the US Department of Defense, the NSA, and nearly every major corporation on the S&P 500. Instead of buying and maintaining their own hardware, they pay Oracle, which builds and houses these massive data centers. That means companies with massive data needs like OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, can contract out their needs for enormous processing power. Ellison's billionaire empire was built by controlling data, but what does he actually want to do with all of that control? Although Project Oracle for the CIA eventually ended, Ellison's relationship with the United States national security never did. In 2020, Oracle won a 15-year contract with the CIA and 16 other US intelligence agencies, a contract worth tens of billions of dollars. In 2022, Oracle, alongside Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, was awarded a $9 billion cloud computing contract by the Department of Defense. So it should come as no surprise that the upper ranks of the company are filled with former CIA operatives, including former CIA Director and Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta, who also sits on Oracle's board of directors. The company has actively developed and marketed technologies into their products that enable mass surveillance, including the redesign of police body cameras to incorporate constant recording and AI monitoring. But this is no secret. As Ellison stated, quote, "The truth is, we don't really turn it off."
Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
But that statement wasn't theoretical. In 2011, Oracle acquired the software company Endeca, using its technology alongside Chicago police to spy on NATO protesters. Oracle's marketing material clearly states They can help police leverage information using online comments, hotel registrations, license plate information, DNA databases, and personal images for facial recognition and identification purposes. Even educational institutions aren't safe from the all-seeing eye of Oracle. Ellison proposed a plan to lock down schools by implementing constant AI surveillance on children, a solution that conveniently requires education systems to buy Oracle's technology. He never mentions the fact that cops already pulled a gun on an innocent student because AI mistook his bag of Doritos for a gun. But when it comes to data collection, Ellison has been playing the long game a long time. After the attacks on 9/11, Larry Ellison proposed a single comprehensive national security database that would collect all personal information on citizens. Now fast forward to May of 2025. The Real ID Act went into place. This nationwide enforcement required all U.S. citizens to update their driver's license to meet federal security standards. So if you had to update your ID in order to fly anywhere in the past year, you have Larry Ellison to thank. As a vocal and unapologetic proponent of mass surveillance, Ellison's position aligns perfectly with the company's business interests and is deeply integrated into his personal philosophy. Even when Edward Snowden exposed the NSA's domestic mass surveillance program, Ellison's reaction was not concern. He described the NSA surveillance program as great and essential and dismissed the entire concept of privacy.
Where do you come down on what NSA is doing?
The great thing is we live in a democracy. If we don't like what NSA is doing, we can just get rid of the government and put in a different government. This whole issue of privacy is utterly fascinating to me. Who's ever heard of this information being misused by the government? In what way?
Well, I just hear you clearly. You're saying whatever the NSA is doing is okay with me.
It's great. It's great. It's essential.
The significance of this cannot be overstated. The man whose company controls mass amounts of the world's most sensitive personal data believes that constant automated surveillance is a positive and necessary force in our society. Ellison is leveraging this deep expertise in data control and his powerful political connections to expand his influence from government databases to the public information we consume every day. Now, having mastered the art of controlling the world's data and digital plumbing, he's aiming to control everything that flows through it. For decades, Ellison has been buying up media companies and social media platforms, building a monopoly from our feeds to TVs and even digital newspapers. But his goal here isn't simply data hosting. It's having control of the media platforms that shape public discourse and control the platform's algorithm, platforms like Twitter and TikTok. In 2022, Larry Ellison invested $1 billion into Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter. Then he served on the Tesla board of directors after purchasing 3 million shares of the company earlier that year. Last year, Ellison surpassed Elon Musk as the richest man in the entire world, for a few hours anyway. But their relationship extends beyond business. Musk is known to be a frequent guest on Ellison's Island and refers to Larry as his mentor and the smartest guy he knows. Seems like birds of a feather, oligarch together. The acquisition of US TikTok is a prime example of the Ellison doctrine, the fusion of political influence, ideological motivation, and technological control. Contrary to what they want us to believe, the sale of TikTok had nothing to do with the Chinese government or the Chinese Communist Party.
Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
It turns out that somebody was trying to steal your data, but it wasn't China. The campaign to force the sale of TikTok to a company within the United States was driven by the nation's 51st blue and white state. According to this state's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu,
the base of our support in the United States, that is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money, but we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are in social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential.
A leaked plan showed how a potential second Trump administration would approve the merger of Paramount and Skydance, which would ultimately facilitate a deal with TikTok. The director of the pro-Israel Anti-Defamation League blamed the app for the widespread exposure of young Americans to pro-Palestine content and wanted to, quote, fix the TikTok problem.
We have a major generational problem. The issue in the United States' support for Israel is not left and right. It is young and old. We really have a TikTok problem, a Gen Z problem. Again, like we've been facing this left-right divide. It's the wrong game. The real game is the next generation.
The push to force its sale was explicitly rooted in Ellison's ideology, and the outcome was a landmark achievement for the Israeli government and Ellison's strategy. The Ellison family is known to be staunch allies of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and authoritarian President Donald Trump. So the impetus for this media push is deeply ideological.
The U.S. company will have control over how the algorithm pushes content to users, and that was a very important part of it. We thought it was necessary for the national security element of the law. We also just think it's important to protect American users. Again, we want users to use this platform the way they want to. We want the business to make decisions about content based on the interests of the business and based on the interests of the users, and that's what we think will happen with this new arrangement.
And they're paying a lot of money.
Oracle not only hosts the data of US users on its servers, but also gains control over TikTok's algorithm and user security for over 170 million people. This hands Oracle control over the whole system, allowing it to shape the content seen or suppressed by a massive American audience. The deal contains a clause that connects this commercial acquisition directly to the national security state and explicitly states trusted security partners may also share information with other United States government officials. The purchase of US TikTok might be Larry's most ambitious move yet, but it's just one piece to a much larger puzzle. One of Larry's longest friendships outside of corrupt billionaires and politicians isn't with a person at all, it's with a state.
I have been to Israel, I have been to the border, I have spent time to the people who govern the state of Israel. And I feel a deep emotional connection to the state of Israel and the Israeli people.
A connection so deep, he's been praised for being the Friends of the IDF's largest donor, furthering their interest and funding a new training camp. He maintains such a close friendship with Netanyahu that he offered him a $450,000 a year seat with Oracle's board of directors, and often vacation together on Larry's island. Ellison makes it clear that his blue and white loyalty extends beyond personal beliefs and into company doctrine.
We have two CEOs at Oracle. One's name is Safra Katz, and she was born in Israel. So again, we love the country of Israel, and we'll do everything we can to support the country of Israel.
Oracle CEO Safra Katz solidified the company's political stance, saying,
"In some ways, one of the most important things I thought we did was we put on all our websites around the world in local language, we stand with Israel." And anyone who had a problem with that, they had a problem with us. What we actually found is that in every country, our business went up. And I'll tell you, it wasn't even a hard decision.
This alliance with Israel is designed to produce tangible results for other leaders as well. Ellison allegedly used his financial clout to directly influence U.S. foreign policy. In leaked emails, Senator Marco Rubio was instructed to run speeches by Ellison to, quote, make sure they were sufficiently pro-Israel before Ellison felt comfortable making a $5 million donation to Rubio's presidential campaign. Rubio didn't end up winning the presidency, but he's currently Trump's Secretary of State and central to ceasefire negotiations. As reported by the Jerusalem Times and other news organizations, Jared Kushner, Trump's former Nepo advisor and son-in-law, has terrifying plans for Gaza. His plan is to turn Gaza City into a tax-free city of startups, with server farms for cloud computing and AI, and even a Tesla factory employing cheap local labor. That's just a pathetic way of saying that billionaire assholes like Ellison and Musk want to create a tax-free haven for their mega corporations to profit off the rubble of war, while exploiting a globally recognized genocide. The more they profit, the more islands they can colonize with their billionaire friends. Last year, Larry Ellison bankrolled his son's purchase of Paramount Skydance, consolidating a major media and entertainment portfolio. This purchase gave the Ellison family control over major media outlets like CBS News, MTV, Nickelodeon, Comedy Central, and the Free Press. After the Trump administration approved that merger, Larry's son, David Ellison, the self-appointed CEO of Paramount, made immediate conservative changes to CBS News. He installed unhinged Zionist and founder of the Free Press, Barry Weiss, as the editor-in-chief, who faced immediate backlash over firing 100 employees, targeting minorities, and for pulling a 60-minute investigation into the abuse at an El Salvador prison. Shortly after the Paramount acquisition, David began an aggressive and hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, which of course holds major media outlet CNN. David also promised Trump that he would make sweeping changes at CNN if the merger went ahead. Ellison's offer to Warner Brothers has been officially rejected, but that could all change if David manages to squeeze a couple more fat stacks from his bankrolling daddy. These deals are what critics call blatant crony capitalism, where powerful politicians help their business allies consolidate power. By seizing control of huge amounts of the American audience, the Ellison family is building the power to shape information on everything from social media feeds to network news. But they're not the only ones doing it. Many of our favorite websites and social media platforms are owned and ran by other corrupt billionaires who've also been in bed with the blue and white state for years. Mark Zuckerberg holds the Meta Big Three: Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. As far back as 2016, Facebook has collaborated with the Israeli government on censorship, complying with 95% of their requests for pro-Palestine content to be removed. The state's military also used data from WhatsApp to track and target thousands of people in Gaza. And in 2023, Instagram started inserting the word terrorist into the bios of users who mentioned they were Palestinian. His other billionaire buddies aren't off the hook either. Netanyahu once called Elon Musk's Twitter one of Israel's most important weapons in the war and defended fascist accusations against him in 2025, following Musk's Nazi salute at Trump's inauguration.
And the other one? What's the other one? That's most important. X. You have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend.
Jeff Bezos with Amazon and Brennan Page with Google signed a $1.2 billion contract in 2021 with the Israeli government, providing cloud computing and AI infrastructure to the IDF. For the sake of time, I'm obviously skimming over these other guys' platforms, but they have an extensive history that isn't usually discussed, so let me know if that's a deep dive you want to see in the future. This week, journalists have started being arrested for reporting news that doesn't fall in line with the agenda of the current administration. It should be clear now, more than ever, that we've been handed a front row seat to the erasure of free speech. Independent creators, including myself, continue to have their accounts suppressed or censored entirely for speaking out. This is not the first time our country has felt dystopian, and it probably won't be the last. But if there's one Orwellian takeaway from this god-awful experience, it's that Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was dystopia. If you enjoy deep dives into rich assholes like this one, be sure to subscribe because I have plenty more like it coming soon.